Hey everyone, we're back with a brand new Blender tutorial covering the Starship Enterprise from the Star Trek franchise. This will be a three-part tutorial on the overall construction and basic texturing of the classic ship. If you're new to the channel, I invite you to join the crew and support the Imagination by hitting like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. It's a free way you can help support the channel, as well as, of course, be notified when new content is delivered by the Imagination. Now, welcome aboard, and I hope you find this tutorial helpful, and if so, please feel free to leave a comment below. With that, let's get started. So what we're going to do is, of course, going to select everything by hitting A and hit delete everything. I have included a link below in the description that has a link to a Dropbox link for where you guys can download the materials for this tutorial. And so one of those materials, once you unzip everything, if we go to import images as planes, I'm going to go to the planes folder in my tutorial materials, and you'll see that you have three different views here. That's right, guys. I have put together planes, reference planes for you. Now we got to set these bad boys up. So we have, if you look closely here, we have a front view, a side view, and a top view. And these are not super highly detailed because these are just to kind of make sure you guys get the correct proportions, or at least the proportions that I want to go with. Because later in this tutorial, we will actually be doing some texturing, which is kind of a first for my tutorial series. A lot of people asked me about doing adding textures to models and everything, and so the texture part will definitely be more of a beginner level and everything, just to kind of help everyone kind of get their feet wet as to how to start adding textures to models. So anyways, let's go and get these things set up. Gonna pan around here. Okay, first we're going to start with the front view. We're going to rotate to look down the x-axis, and we're going to hit R, hold control to kind of snap it. Actually, let's see. I'm going to select. With the front view selected, we're going to hit R and then X to rotate on the x-axis, hold control, and we're just going to kind of rotate this. Actually, let's go ahead and look down our x-axis by clicking the X here. Okay, looks like it's nice and lined up. Now we're going to select our side view. Look down our z-axis. We need to rotate the side view by hitting R to rotate and hit Z to rotate along the z-axis. We're going to rotate this way, counterclockwise. We're going to look down our y-axis. We're going to hit R to rotate again, hit Y to rotate on the y-axis, and rotate it clockwise so that it's lined up. I'm going to go ahead and go over here, drag out this arrow. On our object, we're going to set the location for the X to 0. So that's lined up nice and neat there. Now for our top view, all we have to do is just hit 0 on the location here. Hit enter. Now everything's all kind of lined up here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look down the y-axis. With the top view selected, I'm just going to hit G and Z, bring it down the z-axis, drag it out a bit. Click the side view over here, hit G to move it, X on the x-axis, bring it out to about here. You can kind of see these squares here. Now we're going to look down the x-axis. We're going to select our front view, hit G, hit the y-axis, drag it down here. As you can see, we have our planes kind of set to where we can create our object right here. But the only thing is we're actually going to scale this up a bit. So what we're going to do now, now that everything is lined up here, I'm actually going to go up here to transform pivot point and click to go to individual origins. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit S to scale and hit 5. And that makes everything gigantic. So we're going to kind of drag these out again. Look down our x-axis, going to select the front view, hit G, y-axis, bringing out about 4 of these quads here. I'm going to look down the y-axis, select our side view, hit G, x-axis, bring it out. Select the top view, hit G, z-axis, bring it down. There. Now, the reason I made these bigger is because whenever we start adding lights and everything, that the shadows will fall better on it and everything. I find whenever there's really small objects, the lighting doesn't quite work on them as well. Okay, so now we've got all of our planes set up. And again, this is just the top view, the front view, and the side view. This is just to get the proportions ready. We are ready to start creating objects. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this collection to planes. Minimize it, and I'm going to go to our funnel, turn on selectable, and just go ahead for fun, turn on disable and viewports, just so we have all these tools here. I am going to deselect selectables so that we can't accidentally bump these and nick them around or anything like that. Let's see. I'm going to turn off selectables so we can't bump these or move them around or anything, because we want these to stay in place as much as possible. I'm going to select scene selection and go and create a new collection. We're going to make this Enterprise. Bum, 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 bum. Copyright Star Trek. Okay. We're going to start with a cylinder. So we're going to hit Shift A, go to Mesh, go to Cylinder. And before we do anything, we want to go down to add cylinder box. And we're going to change our vertices to 64. And then going to look down our Z-axis. Going to scale this up. Tell you what, little trick here. We're going to go to our viewport shading solids. Click on that. Oh no, we can't see our planes. Have no fear. We're going to click our little drop-down menu here. And we're going to go, this is for viewport shading. We're going to go down to color, and we're going to go to texture. Now our textures are back, but we're still in the solid viewport shading mode. I'm going to hit Alt-Z to go kind of X-ray mode. We're still snapped to the Y-axis. I'm going to hit G, go down the Y-axis, and line this up with the saucer, dish, disc, whatever you want to call it. The primary hull, I think, is the correct term. Going to kind of line this up. Going to scale it down by hitting S. So that's lined up with the saucer, dish, whatever we want to call it. I'm going to try to say primary hull throughout the tutorial, but bear with me. Because, I mean, the way I see it is that, this is the primary hull, the secondary hull, the nacelles or pylons, whatever people want to call them. Okay, so we're going to look down the x-axis. As you can see, our saucer is way too tall. Primary hull is way too tall. So we're going to hit S to scale, Z-axis, and we're going to scale this down big time. And hit G, Z-axis, bring it up. And we're just going to kind of nudge it out on the Y-axis a little bit. Scale it on Z. Just kind of line up as best you can. I mean, remember, this is kind of just a little loose, but, these proportions here in the views are here just to kind of help you guys line this up a bit better so that, again, when we texture it, you'll have a little easier time. Okay, so we have the first part of our Enterprise kind of, roughed out here. Let's start adding some detail to it. We're going to select the Enterprise selected, and notice we are in object mode. I am going to hit Option to go into edit mode. We're in vertices mode, so we're going to hit 3 to go into faces mode. Let's see, what do we want to do first? I think we're going to create the details on the top of it. So we're going to look down the Z-axis. We're going to hit E to extrude, S to scale. And we're just going to go all the way to the bridge area. And then we're going to create this inner circle here. So we're going to hit Control R. Scale it a bit. Hit Control R again. Kind of line up a bit. I know this doesn't quite. We're going to go ahead and just line it up for this view right here. Hit G, Y-axis. Hit 2. Make sure we're hit 2 to go into line our edges mode. Hold Alt, select right here, so we select the entire circle. S to scale. Same thing here. Hold Alt, click this to select the entire circle. S to scale. Okay. And We have kind of the basic circles and shapes we need to kind of create the contours and everything at the top of the saucer. Make sure in faces mode by hitting 3. Hold Alt and Shift. Select this line right here. So we select this entire series of faces here. Same thing on the center track. We're going to leave this as is right now because that's fine. We're going to look down our y-axis and notice that the saucer is not completely flat on top. It kind of cones upward a bit, but not too much. So it's going to bring this up about a third of the way, as you can see. And then we're going to deselect this track right here. We're going to look back down our y-axis. Hold G and Z-axis, bring it up some more. I think we're about kind of maybe a little over halfway there. A little closer so you can see. Looked into our X-ray mode. Okay. And then just kind of look in our 3D mode, moving around here. Select this circle right here, which is where the bridge is going to be. Look back down the y-axis, hold G, Z-axis, and bring it up. And beautiful. We have kind of the top of the saucer going. Let's see here. Hold tab, go back into edit mode. Okay, so make sure you're still in faces mode. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create the bridge. Before we do anything, let's look down the Z-axis, Alt Z to go into X-ray mode. Hit E to extrude, S to scale. We're going to go ahead and create the dome of the bridge area. Hit extrude, S to scale again. Okay. Let's turn off X-ray mode by holding Alt or pressing Alt Z. And hold Alt and Shift, select this so we have this inner circle and this outer kind of track around here. Gonna hit E to extrude, just bring it up just a little bit. And then Alt and Shift, click to deselect that circle. And we're just gonna kind of rough a little dome shape here. So we're gonna E to extrude up automatically on the Z-axis. E extrude again automatically on the Z-axis. S to scale it a bit. E extrude again upward just a little bit. S to scale. Bring up a bit. G, then Z-axis. E extrude again. S to scale. G, Z upward. Okay, so we have kind of a little dome here. I mean, one of the ways we can kind of smooth some things out. Go back into edit mode. Hit 2 to go to edges mode. Hold Alt. Select this line right here. Hit Control B to bevel it. So that gives us just a bit more of a rounded shape. All right, so now hold tab or hit tab to go back into edit mode. Hit 3 to go into faces mode. We need to select all of this. Make sure that you don't have the bottom of the saucer selected. And we're going to hold Alt and Shift to select all this. So make sure you just have this outer circle. This is the main bridge area with the dome. Make sure nothing else is selected. Hold Alt Z or hit Alt Z just to kind of look around. Make sure just this area is selected. Alt Z again, get out of X-ray mode because it gets a little confusing sometimes. Now we're going to hit E to extrude, bring this area up. Let's look down our y-axis. Okay. Then we need to kind of round this out a bit. Hit 2 to go to edges mode. Just kind of deselect, just select this right here. All right, now we're going to hit Control R to create a ring cut around these faces. Go ahead and hit Escape to lock it in place there. Just, we divide this cylinder in half. Hit 2, make sure you're still in line mode or in edges mode. Click Alt or hit Alt and click right here. And S to scale. And then Control B to bevel. We're going to click or hold Alt, click here, bring this out a bit, S to scale, G, Z axis, bring it down. Just kind of rounding this out a bit. Same thing here, Alt, click, no shift, Control B. Just kind of round this out a bit. I think you guys kind of get the idea here. We're just kind of rounding this out. Okay. Let's see. Now we need to, because as you noticed on the planes, we look down the z-axis. The area around the bridge is more of an oval shape. So we're going to make sure we have all these faces selected. Whoops. Let me hit 3, make sure we're in faces mode. Hold Alt and Shift. Click this line right here. Here. Make sure you have all these selected. We're going to leave this inner circle here and the bridge alone. Click Z to look down the Z-axis. Now we're going to go to proportional editing. I'm going to click this to turn it on, or hit O to turn it on. And we're going to S to scale X-axis. Now, as you notice, it's making this whole thing pucker. We don't want that. We want to drag this circle down. I mean, as you can see, the way it's working for me right now, it's almost right on the dome. Either way, we want to make sure that we only distort the area around the dome, but not the dome itself. So there, that's more of the shape of the kind of the bridge area of the Enterprise. Okay, so the top is looking pretty good. Now the bottom. The bottom, we're going to hit Alt to go into edit mode, hit 3 to go into faces mode, and let's go ahead. We're actually going to look down the Z-axis, Alt Z, and we're going to E to extrude, S to scale. And remember, what we're extruding is the underside, the bottom of the saucer. And just make sure that this circle that we just extruded, extruded, is scaled to where it's the same size around as the dome. Okay, so we're looking underneath now, Alt Z. Now we're going to do a circular cut, whatever. We're going to hit Control R. So as you can see, that brings up just one, but we're going to roll the mouse wheel and we're actually going to do 6 cuts. Hold escape or hit escape. And okay, so we've got our cuts here. So now what we're going to do is we got to kind of create the contour of the underside of the Enterprise, which is it's kind of unique. I mean, people don't quite realize if you never, built a model of the Enterprise, like an actual model kits, from Polar Lights or Round One, or even the old Ertl. I think Ertl created kits for them. Anyways, so basically we want to leave this outer ring flat. What we want to do is hit 3 to go into faces mode. We're going to go to 3 rings in. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to hold Alt, click this right here to select this ring, and we're going to select the other inner rings as well. Actually, I think we're just going to select just these 3 rings right here for right now. We're going to hit G and Z to move this up a bit on the Z axis. Okay, so we got this up a bit. We're going to deselect this by holding Alt and Shift. Actually, we're going to deselect both of these, and we're going to bring this. We're going to make sure we have this ring, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rings in. We're just going to go ahead and select the rest of this, including this little one right here. And we're going to hit G, Z axis, bring it down a bit. Let's go ahead and look down our Y axis at a reference. G, Z axis, we're bringing this down a bit. I think we're good right there. Deselect this right here, Alt and Shift. Look down our Y axis again. G, Z axis. Actually, I'm sorry. Let's turn off our proportional editing. Make sure we didn't distort anything up top here. No, we didn't. Okay, so we've got these inner circles here selected. Look down our Y-axis, hit G, Z-axis. Just try to line up as best you can to the plane underneath here, the front plane. Now we're going to deselect this, Alt and Shift by left clicking. Look down our Y-axis again, G, Z-axis, bring this down. And then just this circle right here. Look down the Y-axis again, G, Z-axis. Tell you what, Alt, Z, go into X-ray mode. 1 to bring in vertices mode. And just do a drag selection, G, Z-axis. Just kind of round this out a bit more. Forgive me if I ever say vector points or anything like that. I mean, I do a lot of work in Adobe Illustrator and other, W programs and everything, and I kind of get stuck in vector mode. Let's see, S to scale, bring this out a bit. Okay, so we have kind of a, it's almost like a bird bath or something like that. The underside of the Enterprise kind of has a bird bath look to it, because you can see there's this kind of this inner track that recesses, and then it just kind of comes outward, kind of in a cone shape. And right here is where the underside of the bridge is going to be. I'm not sure if this is actually a viewport or something like that, but I just kind of basically mirror kind of what's on the top here. So we're going to do this all over again. We're going to hit 3 to go into faces mode, select this face right here. Eat extrude automatically on the Z axis. Eat extrude S to scale. And then eat extrude, bring this down a bit. Eat extrude again. S to scale. Eat extrude a little bit. S to scale. Let's say we're going to hit 2. Go to edges mode. Alt, select the ring. Hit Control B to bevel it a bit. Loop select here by holding Alt and left clicking. G, Z axis, bring it up again. Hit 3, select this face, eat extrude. G on the Z axis. And we have kind of the underside of our dome. Now, a little trick I've learned recently, and I mean, bear with me, a lot of you guys probably already knew this, but I didn't know about this. So, whenever we right click and go to shade smooth, we lose like some definition, like some stuff starts to look really weird. And it's just what it is that the program doesn't quite know how you want this to be displayed. So with our bridge or our main hull still selected, go over here to your object data properties, click on it, and then go to normals and click auto smooth. And we have a lot of our edges back are kind of, defined and everything. Whereas if we turn it off, everything is just really smooth, but looks really weird. This is one of the ways that we can still have a low poly count, but have a smooth looking object for, for when we're doing animations and such like that. So go ahead and click back on auto smooth. And as you can see on the edge of the saucer, we've kind of lost some of the edges here. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit tab to go back into edit mode, hit 2 to go to line mode, and we're going to hit Alt, left click on this line right here and this line. And so, okay, we got these top bottom edges of the outer rim of the saucer selected. Right click, and we're going to mark sharp. So now we've got nice sharp edges again. And what we need to do is we need to make sure that this bottom part, because if you notice, on this plane right here, if we look down our x-axis, the bottom part of the saucer needs to be recessed a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit Alt, left click on this edge right here, and look down our x-axis, S to scale, just kind of bring it in a bit. And we have the saucer of the Enterprise. We're gonna add some more hard edges. Go to tab to go to edit mode. We're gonna hit 2 edges mode, and we're gonna loop select this by clicking or left clicking right here. Gonna mark sharp, and let's see here. Let's see what I can do to, let's see, hit 2. Okay, yeah, make sure we're still in edges mode. Select this, S to scale, bring it in a bit. There. Now it's a little more smooth looking. So yeah, so we have our saucer. Now we're going to create kind of the neck that connects it to the secondary hull. So what we're going to do is we're going to click Z, look down the Z axis, and we're going to Alt Z to go into X-ray mode and make sure you don't have anything selected. And also make sure we're in object mode. We're gonna hit Shift A. We're gonna create a cube. Scale it down a bit. Line it up with this rectangle right here. Hit G, Y-axis. S to scale. Just kind of line it up as much as you can. Look down our X-axis. It's a little big. S to scale. Z-axis. S to scale. I know these planes don't quite... hold on, guys. Aren't quite lining up and everything. That's not a problem. We just need to make sure that we're just kind of, we're kind of sticking to them as much as possible. One of the things you're going to learn or kind of find in 3D modeling is that, I mean, unless you are making a model for something that's going to be 3D printed to be part of a machine or something like that, like if you're going to, 3D print something and then make a cast and it has to, screws have to line up and everything perfectly on it, then okay. I mean, you have to be very precise, but for just general 3D modeling projects, you don't always have to be super precise, but I mean, precision is always good. So, okay, let's keep going. So let's see, we're kind of looking around here in our 3D mode. Alt-Z, turn off X-ray mode, and we're going to kind of make some edits to this. But first what we're going to do is we're going to hit Tab to go into edit mode. We're going to hit Control R, and we're going to snap make a nice cut down this rectangle, and we're going to 3D go into faces mode. We're going to select all these faces on the left side of the ship, or in this view we're on the right hand side. Hit delete faces, and then we're going to go to our modifier properties, add modifier. We're going to go to mirror. Make sure click on clipping, turn that on. Hit Tab, go back out of edit mode. Actually, no, we don't need to do that. Yeah, still in edit mode. We're going to hit Control R. Make a couple of cuts here. Split into thirds. And hit 1, go to vertices mode, select all these. Make sure you're still in X-ray mode. Hit G, Y-axis, kind of line this up here where you see there's a bit of a slope here. And likewise, select these, bring them down, Y-axis. Always try to make sure whenever you're moving things that you're hitting your Y, Z, and X axes and everything, and also make sure that you are keeping up with where your Y and X and Z axes are and everything, because it will just help make your model a bit cleaner and everything. Like, if you're just kind of dragging things around like this, it's not going to look good. Unless that's the effect you're going for. But that's not what we're going for here. So hit Control Z, put everything back to where it was. Okay, so Alt Z back into X-ray mode. Select these top 2 vertices. Hit G, Z axis, bring it up. Tab out of edit mode, Alt Z. So as you can see, have just kind of the structure kind of blending into the bridge here. Let's see, let's select this face in X-ray mode. Let's turn off X-ray mode, G, Y axis. And back to X-ray mode, select these faces here. X-axis. Okay. Just going to kind of work with this a little. Well, actually, I think, yeah, I'm just going to leave this flat for right now. Now, we need to create the impulse. I think this is the impulse engines. If you are a fan of The Wrath of Khan, there's that part where they say full impulse power. I'm sure they've said that in the rest of the Star Trek lore, but my favorite Star Trek movie is The Wrath of Khan. Okay. I'm sorry, I got to talking there and just started doing stuff without telling you guys. Okay, so we need to kind of define the impulse engines a bit. We're going to hit Control R and do a cut down down the Y-axis. All right, and then let's see, we're going to do another one, just kind of bring it out about here. Now we're going to hit 2 to go into edges mode, Alt Z to go into X-ray mode, and we're going to select these 3 bottom edges here. Alt Z out of edit mode, or I'm sorry, out of X-ray mode. hit G, Z-axis, bring this up. Defining our impulse engines. Hit 3, go into faces mode, select these faces here. Not this one. Okay. Heat extrude as to scale. Bring this in a bit. G, Z-axis. I'm sorry, X-axis. I think we're actually going to scale this up just a little bit. Make these edges a little thinner. And then we're going to heat extrude, but we're going to recess it a bit. Just add a little extra detail. Actually, one thing we need to do is select these faces here, heat extrude, Z-axis. I'm sorry, Z-axis automatically. And then select these faces on the back, heat extrude, bring it out a bit. Okay. Okay, so now we need to create the neck, which will connect to the secondary hull of the ship. So we're going to select these faces here. Again, if you're not in faces mode, hit 3 to go into faces mode. With these faces selected, we're going to hit E to extrude as to scale. Just bring this in a little bit. Select or hit 2 to go into edges mode. Select these two edges right here. Hit G, X-axis, bring this in a bit. Let's go ahead and hit Y to look down our Y-axis. Let's Alt-Z, hit 1 to go to vertices mode. This is our vertice right here, that line. Bring this in just a bit. Make sure it didn't overlap any of the other vertices, which it did not. And now we're going to S to scale on the Y-axis. Bring this in a bit on the Y-axis. Now we're going to hit 3. Go to faces mode. Select these faces here. This is going to be the neck. Heat extrude automatically on the Z-axis. Bring it down. Clipping into the secondary hull. Now we need to look down our X-axis. We need to line this up a bit. So Alt-Z, go into X-ray mode. G, Y-axis. Okay, let's see. Select these vertices here. Hit 1. Of course, go into vertices mode. G, Y-axis. And it looks like we have a little bit of a problem here, but no big deal. We're going to select all these vertices right here at the front of the neck. Not any of these or the bottom ones here. Leave these as they are. Now, look back down our X-axis. Hit G, Y-axis. Bring these up. As you can see, none of the polygons, nothing's overlapping or anything. This is all fine the way this is. Everything's still squared and everything. You know, it's hip to be square. All right, so now we've got, you know, starting to take shape here. Hopefully you guys are keeping up. Hopefully this is, you know, hopefully I'm, you know, telling you all the key commands and everything. I mean, I know a lot of you that are watching probably don't need to hear all the key commands, but I'm trying to, you know, trying to be as detailed as possible with this. Okay. Actually, something I just realized I forgot to do on the dish. We're going to go back real quick. We need to give kind of a nice little, kind of a beveled edge here. So we're going to, with the dish selected, we're going to hit Alt, go into edit mode, hit 3 in faces mode. Actually, I think we're going to go 2 to go into line mode. Let's see. Hit 2, Alt, click. This selects this entire upper edge. Control B to bevel it. Bring this in just a little bit. And then make sure we deselect everything. Alt, click this outer edge. Hit G, Z-axis. Bring it down just a bit. And then we're going to do the same, but we're going to do a little differently. We're just going to do a loop cut. Control R. Around this outer face here. Just bring it down a little bit. And then Alt and select. No shift. We just want to select this lower edge right here. S to scale. And bring it in a bit. And we need to Alt and select this. Give this a sharp edge. There. Now it's looking more enterprisey-ish. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I totally forgot about that. A little rusty on tutorials. Alright guys, this concludes part 1 of constructing the primary hull. Please check out part 2 where we continue with building the secondary hull and the nacelles. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in part 2.